Hello?
Hello, who could this be on my telephone?
This is Mike Love of the Beach Boys.
The
Is this Jay?
It is the iconic Beach Boys. How you doing, Mike?
Does iconic mean old?
I may be iconic then.
Anyway, yeah, that's me, and we're in Wichita right now, but we're coming to El Dorado tomorrow, so we'll have the night off in El Dorado. What do you think? Is it a good town to have a good time?
Oh, you know it. You know, I was looking at the schedule, man. You guys, from Kansas, you're coming to El Dorado, then you're going to be in Tulsa, and you're going around, and then you'll get back to California and all those California girls.
Well, somebody has to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you guys have been doing this. What? Now let's see. You started back in what, like 1960 or so? And how old were you when you started the Beach Boys?
Don't try to age us more than we already are. Now, come on. No, our first song called "Surfin'" came on the radio in Southern California in the fall of 1961. And in 1962, we got the attention of Capitol Records and signed with them. And that was our first album, was the Surfin' Safari album in 1962. And we took the photograph for the album cover at Paradise Cove, which is the Malibu area. And we just did the end of our Disney Plus documentary was filmed at that same spot in Paradise Cove. 60 years later.
Wow. I bet it brought
Pretty
back
amazing.
probably brought back a lot of great memories. And so, what were you like 19, 20 when that all got started?
Well, when we signed with Capitol Records, I was the old man of the group at 21. Brian was 20, and his brothers were younger than he. And so I was the only one that didn't need court approval to sign that record deal. But, Carl must have been 14, probably turned 15, soon thereafter. And so, it was an amazing thing. We're doing our tour. We're calling it the Endless Summer Gold Tour. Our Endless Summer album came out, and it was triple platinum in 1974. So here we are, 50 years later, doing 18 of the 20 songs on that double album, which was triple platinum in the U.S. and it sold 1 million copies in Great Britain.
Wow. You guys have been making hits for a long time. I read somewhere the other day that you had said your favorite Beach Boys album was Pet Sounds. Now, I mean, a lot of people will say that too. I think even Paul McCartney said that it was just a masterpiece. So I'm curious, of all the songs that you've done, what would be your favorite Beach Boys song? And I know they're all like kids to you, but.
Well, yeah, to tell you the truth, it's according to your mood. If you're in a low-keyed mood, In My Room is a beauty. There's the warmth of the sun, which is gorgeous.
Absolutely.
Surfer Girl is beautiful. If mid-tempo songs like Don't Worry Baby and God Only Knows are great. But if you're in an upbeat mood, Surfing USA, I Get Around, Fun, 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 all those are great, so we love them all. We do a few songs from our Pet Sounds album, like Sloop John B., God Only Knows, and Wouldn't It Be Nice? And we do Kokomo, which is number one in 1988, and was featured on Full House, and our friend John Stamos loved the Beach Boys, and he had us on his program, and that's been on TV for decades now.
Yeah.
So, we just, and song after song of ours has been in movies, so movie soundtracks. Kokomo was in Cocktail, which is a Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah.
And
I remember that one very well. As a matter of fact, I remember when that song first came out, your record company, I forget what station I was working at, but they called and they were pushing some song and it went nowhere. And I told the guy, the rep, when he called the next week, I said, well, listen, I'm going to be adding this Beach Boys song, Kokomo. And he said, well, I said, listen, that's going to be a hit. And of course, it went to number one.
It did go to number one. It was number one for 8 weeks in Australia. But that's a big surfing country, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at any rate, yeah, you're right. The record company didn't really believe in it, but we found that a lot of the radio stations all over the country really liked that record.
Yeah.
And it eventually, even though the record company initially didn't understand it or really promote it very much, it kept going and going and going, and finally went to number one, which is fantastic.
It's easy to sing along with, and it's a great song. All right, now it was something I was kind of curious about, and is there a song? Well, there's probably several, but what song would there be that Mike Love would say, I wish the Beach Boys had recorded that song? Is there one in particular that you think, man, we'd have done a great job on that?
Well, you know, there's all kinds of fantastic songs. We've always liked doing other people's songs. We did Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers had a song called Why Do Fools Fall in Love?
Yeah,
and
great
we
song.
did our own version of it. In fact, Barbara Ann, which is off our Beach Boys Party album in 1965, that we didn't even think of Barbara Ann being a hit for us. It was a hit by the Regents, of a group out of the East Coast. But it became a huge hit for us, and we play it every night on our concert.
Now, didn't Jan and Dean, weren't they involved in that record too, on the very first part of that?
Absolutely. Dean Torrance came by, and he wasn't supposed to because he was on a competing label.
Yeah.
We were in Capitol Records. He was on Liberty, and he came by, and he sang the high part along with my cousin Brian.
Yeah,
And that was a lot of fun. It was a party album. It was just fun. We had stacks and stacks of beer and just got in the studio and we did the tracks first, and then we did the vocals, and then everybody sang along. It was a real nice atmosphere, and I think that feeling projected itself on the record, and I think that's why people like it so much.
Everybody loves a good party song. There's no doubt about that. We're talking with Mike Love of the Beach Boys from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's got to be a great honor getting there. And then you look back on your career. The last time you guys were in El Dorado, I talked to Bruce Johnston. He happened to be at the back of the bus when you guys were loading in, or is that loading out? And anyway, I got a chance to talk to him, and I said, what do you do? You're driving in your muscle car, because I know you've probably got something, because, cars and the beach with the Beach Boys. But you're driving along, and you hear a Beach Boys song come on the radio. What goes through your mind?
Well, it goes through my mind that it's fun, and I get around, and Surfing USA have been responsible for many tickets. Because you just want to put the pedal to the metal, and
absolutely.
Some of those songs get you excited, and you just want to, go for it.
Yeah.
And I was once arrested by the California Highway Patrol for going quite a bit over the speed limit. Let's say 140 miles an hour in my Bentley. Anyway, so we've had the Corvettes and the XKEs and all kinds of great cars over the years. We love the Detroit products from the 50s and 60s.
Absolutely. So which would be your favorite car of all of them?
Well, that's hard to say, because Corvette, I think, is a fantastic car.
Sure.
For the money, that's an amazing value. They do a really, and every year they come out with a better one yet.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
So as far as American cars, that's great. But the XKE was beautiful, back in the day. In fact, I dictated the words to Good Vibrations to my then wife while I'm driving the XKE to the studio. I just recited the poem that became the lyrics to Good Vibrations. So, we've had so many great experiences, so many great cars over the years. But a little-known fact is that in East Germany, there are more American classic cars than there are anywhere in Europe, because America represented freedom, and they were under the control of the USSR at the time. And so it's just something I learned when we went there. It was pretty amazing how much the East Germans, the German people, just loved America and loved what we stood for. Even though World War II is no fun, that's for sure. Yeah. But then anyway. So we just had so many great experiences, but there's nothing like being in the USA.
Oh, isn't that
and
the
doing
truth?
Concerts.
And that's that's still true. And you speak about the XKE, and we mentioned Janet Dean a little while ago. Of course, that was the car they were driving in Dead Man's Curve.
That's right.
Yeah, what a great song that is too. Now, Bruce Johnston. Go ahead.
Little old lady from Pasadena isn't chopped liver,
She's got a lead foot.
That one.
Yeah, she's got a lead foot.
Right.
So Bruce Johnston's with the band and everything. Now, John Stamos, you mentioned, occasionally fills in playing the drums for you guys. Is he on this end of the tour?
He does. He's not here with us this week, but we got him on the video screen. I talk about Be True to Your School came out in 1963, and he says, that was the year I was born. I said, well, you don't have to tell me about that, John, because your mom and I had some great times in the early 60s. So we joke around.
But that's fun.
A great time. And he's a good drummer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, I want to mention, too, now you've got an autobiography called Good Vibrations, My Life as a Beach Boy, and now would be a good time for somebody to pick that book up and kind of get some more of the inside scoop, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, Amazon will get it to your door,
There you go.
So, yeah, that's good. We also have a book out, The Beach Boys, by the Beach Boys, by a company called Genesis, which does these phenomenal, beautiful, you could call them coffee table type books, but everybody, and that's ever been a part of the group contributed their, home movies and childhood photographs and stuff like that. And so it's quite the book. It goes into the pet sounds, the making of the records, and all that. So it's quite informative, and it's really interesting to look at. The Beach Boys by the Beach Boys on Genesis.
Sounds good. So doing all those songs, a lot of times you guys are working with the Wrecking Crew, which nobody really knew anything about that until the last 5, 6, 7 years or whatever. Those guys played on everything, and it was great because you're playing with all the A-list players. They just the number of hit songs those guys played on is just incredible. And
Glenn Campbell was one of those guys, self-taught from Arkansas.
There you go. Yeah, from Delight, Arkansas. Now, you also do all the work with some charities, and I noticed the juvenile diabetes and others. So good for you for, putting that star power out there and helping other people out. We always appreciate that.
Yeah, well, Glenn was such a great guy. I remember how humorous he was, and that disease he got, Alzheimer's, it took it all away. It was so terrible.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, the Wrecking Crew, those guys, they were called the Wrecking Crew by the musicians that played in symphonies and jazz players and stuff, because they were playing on rock and roll records, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they said they're going to wreck the business, so they call them the Wrecking Crew. but they played on so many fantastic records out of L.A. area, Hollywood. Mamas and Papas stuff, and they played with the the Righteous Brothers and just so many great things, So we've been very fortunate. The Beach Boys is effectively two groups. One was the recording group, and one was the touring group. My cousin Brian left the touring group in late 1964 to concentrate just on recording, which worked out pretty well because we had California Girls and the Beach Boys Party album, and then on 65 and then 66 was Pet Sounds and Good Vibrations. So the being the two groups was interesting because my cousin Carl was the leader of the band instrumentally, and I was always more into the live music part of it rather than the recording. I mean, the recording is great, and you can do great music, but to see the effect of our music on people, of all ages, we find that young people are coming out to see us as well as our original fans, and so I really enjoyed the live music part of it. You really get to see the people getting into your music and being happy and forgetting about, the cares of the world. And
there's plenty of that going around.
Yeah, there's plenty of that going on. But so, I really enjoy what we do. Live music is fantastic. And we literally create good vibrations.
The first time I heard that song, Good Vibrations, I was, I don't know. I'm not going to say how young I was but I knew right then, man, that was something really special. And then I've seen some things on YouTube about, how it was all put together and stuff. And wow, incredible. Well, Mike, I know you're busy and you got a lot of things going on. You probably got a pickleball game or something coming up here in a little bit, I bet. And
I bet you not. I don't want to fall and break my wrist. I'd have trouble holding the microphone.
Well, I'll tell you, I used to play tennis a lot, and pickleball's nice now because it's a good bit slower game, and it's not so bad. But but we're really looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow night in El Dorado, and it's going to be a great time, and we're really looking forward to it.
Well, thank you, Jay, for getting the word out on that first financial music hall gig that we're going to do. Tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Mike Love of the Beach Boys, and we'll see them Friday night. Mike, thanks again, and you guys be careful, and we're getting ready to have some fun on Friday.
Thank you, Jay. And we're going to have fun, by the way.
Absolutely.
All right.